This looks like your ordinary average bank, right?
Mm-hmm.
God dang, Coop's got a big old donkey.
Fuck, I better get over here.
No, he's gonna get you in the toolies. That might be a big one.
This week, I won't tease you. Last week, I gave you a little tease there, made you wait around. Was able to show off a not so great of a fish. This fish that I hooked this week with Christian, that was a big fish, but I'm gonna let you know I lost that fish. So no tease. But bad news for me, but I've got good news for you. This week, I'm gonna be able to tell you how you can go out and catch a 30-pound bag of largemouth bass. It can happen. That's good news. Bad news is it's gonna take about 25 fish for you to get that 30 pounds. Your best 5 may go, I'll say 7, 8, 9, 10 pounds. That's the bad news. So with that, let's take a look at a few pictures. Then we'll get right into the report. I've got a couple special guests for you. So let's do it. Hi everyone, thanks for tuning in. This is the report for July 31st. Let's start off with a little river news, and I just want to remind everybody that the new In Deep on the Delta merch, the hats, the sun shirts, the tees, they're all out at Paradise Point. You can go in the office, talk to Jessica, she'll set you up with whatever you need. That's number one. Number two, if you watched my last week's video, I did a video on fishing rock walls, and I called it Are You Experienced? Did anyone notice in the thumbnail that on the water there was a reflection of Jimi Hendrix on the water? Now, the name of the video was Are You Experienced? Fishing rock walls. And does anybody even remember Jimi Hendrix? Am I that old? Do people know who Jimi Hendrix was? If you did, he had a hit song back in the 70s, I guess, and it was called, what was it called? Are You Experienced? I thought it'd be cool to put his image as a reflection on the water. Nobody mentioned it. So if you guys know who Jimi Hendrix is and you saw it, just hit me up. Say, yeah, hey, I saw that. It's kind of cool. That's all I'm talking about. All right, with that last thing when it comes to river news, I want to talk up an upcoming tournament. It's the Mike Vaughn tournament. I hit up Tony at the dock out at Paradise Point a couple days ago, and Tony Vaughn, Mike's brother, and I got a little snippet with Tony here, and we're going to turn it over to Tony. He's going to talk about the upcoming Mike Vaughn tournament, give you all the details and everything you need to know. So let's check out that little snippet, then we'll get back to the report. Tony, tell us about the upcoming, it's the 13th annual Mike Vaughn tournament.
Yes.
Let us know what's going on with that. Give us the dates and all the information.
Okay, it's the 13th annual Mike Vaughn Classic. It's a memorial tournament for my older brother who passed away. And what we try to do every year is last year we had 75 boats. We're going to launch out of Ladd's Marina we'll start signing up at 4 o'clock, and then we'll start launching at first safe light. It's a 3-fish limit, and I'm telling you, it's a great tournament, man. Then afterwards, we have a really, really big barbecue. Everything that you would want to eat, it's going to be there. Hey guys, come out, enjoy it. It's the best tournament on the Delta.
And I will vouch, it is the best barbecue on the Delta. I'll be out there. I might not be fishing the tournament, but I'll be out there to support you guys, and I'll be out there to eat your barbecue.
Okay. Hey, you guys, hit Steve up and make sure he fishes the tournament. How about that?
I don't want to get embarrassed by you, man.
No, it's no embarrassment. Everybody out there is just to have a great time. And then we give all the proceeds back to the fishermen, so that's a good thing.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun and a lot of good people out there, and just a lot of, you'll meet some friends if you go out there, I guarantee you. They got the barbecue out on the lawn. Hopefully it's not going to be too hot. You can sit in the shade and just chat with some of the best bass fishermen on the Delta.
Correct.
So Tony, with that, maybe you come back a little bit and we can talk a little bit about fishing?
Yeah, we can do that.
All right. Let's get into the report, and I want to talk a little bit about ClearLake. My friend Nino Spella, who works out at ClearLake Outdoors, did some posting last week. Him and his partner went up there and just tore the fish up, tore the big ones up. Last week I told you they were getting a lot of numbers up there, but I guess the big ones started biting. Anyhow, this is a situation up at Clear Lake. I talked to Dave out at Clear Lake Outdoors. They've had a couple of monsters come in. They had an 11-9 come in a tournament last week. They also had a 12+ last week come in. Lots of fish and, you know, good sized fish up there. So what Dave says is that the lake is in great shape. It's for this time of year, you know, the fish are super active, good quality water. I think it's 72-degree temperatures up there, so they're not getting the big algae blooms that they normally get. So he says if you are on the north side of the lake, you want to flip, you want to throw frogs, and you want to throw chatterbaits. If you are on the south side of the lake, you want to jig, you want to throw mid-size swim baits, and you want to do a little cranking. You can go up there, water temperature 72, 75 degrees, weather's been nice, you can catch a lot of fish, and they are picking up some really nice fish, and that's the report for up at Clear Lake. So for you guys that have been thinking about going up there, it might be a good week to go up and give that a try. Now some of you may not recognize the name Bryce Tedford, Captain Bryce Tedford.
Correct, yeah.
Been out here how long? 11th
11th year as a captain.
11th year as a captain.
15 years on the Delta.
15 years on the Delta. The reason you don't recognize his name because he uses it's some kind of a funny looking
Fluffy bug chucker is what we like to say.
Bryce is a fly fishing guide.
Fly fishing guide.
Bryce, a little bit about yourself. You're a licensed guide and a licensed captain. You've been out here for 15 years.
Yeah, I was up in Oregon, Idaho, and Washington for about 15 years guiding, and then ended up down here in California when I got married and had a son. And now for the last 15 years, and specifically the last 11 years, been focused on the Delta as a captain and guide on the water, and doing stripers, largemouth, and smallmouth, depending on the seasons. Spring and fall stripers with a fly rod, and then in the summer, primarily topwater for largemouth and smallmouth bass.
And how many days a year do you guide?
Anywhere around 150 to 200 days a year is what I focus on. I personally generally fish into September for largemouth, smallmouth, and then in September I really make my transition over to stripers, and I'll fish it all the way till December, you know, till up to Christmas.
That's your prime time.
That's my prime time. So spring and fall. April, May, October, November, it's hard to beat for stripers.
Okay, those are the 2 months you want to be out here.
4 months, yeah.
Four months, yeah. You've got everything. You don't have to go out and buy a fly rod.
100% got everything. All you got to show up with a fishing license, sunglasses, and preferably a good attitude.
You've got the flies?
Absolutely,
and
everything.
If somebody is brand new to fly fishing, what do you suggest? Stripers or bass?
I generally go after the bass, and we'll even go one step further and start with the smallmouth, just because it's like learning the putting of fly fishing. You know, it's very similar in golf, that you're working on your short game, hitting your spots, understanding what you're after, and the smallmouth are generally on more open rock walls, a little easier to focus on, and it's just a great way to get. I've had a lot of people bring their grandkids out, anywhere starting from 6 years old up to 15, and get them into fish and get them on a fly rod and catching fish. To it, I usually say 8 to 10 is usually when you get started. Okay.
You can bring a raw beginner out here and they can catch fish on their first trip, and they can learn how to cast, learn the terminology of what's going on. And for you guys that are striper guys and you've never caught a striper on a fly rod, it takes a little more skill, it takes a little more work, but man, it is something to put on your bucket list, and I think you can take them out and put them onto fish, and you get that first fish, and you just might become a fly rod guy.
Yeah, it's another option in your boat to fish with, and there's certain times where it's just going off.
And, let's let them know how they can get a hold of you if they want to hook up with you for a day of fishing.
Yeah, best way is to look at my website at brycetedfordflyfishing.com. Or you can find me on Instagram or Facebook at Bryce Tedford Fly Fishing, at Bryce Tedford Fly Fishing. And then finally, you're welcome to give me a call or give me a text at 206-696-2437.
All right, there you guys have it. If you want to get out here and learn to fly fish, I highly recommend coming out with Bryce. Very patient man, and especially good with kids. Show you a great day on the water, and I think you'll catch some fish, whether you're a seasoned angler or first-time fly rodder. So
Absolutely.
Thanks a lot, Bryce. And
thanks, Steve. Enjoyed the day.
Yeah, it was fun.
A lot of fun.
We'll come out and do it again.
Absolutely.
And, let's go and have some breakfast.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. I want to go over this week's tournament results real quick because top weights were not bad, but all in all, the weights were underwhelming. So we had the Monday night Lunkers tournament. That was one with 18.7. That's not a bad weight. We had the Wednesday night tournament. I did not get the results on. I know last week they had that big bag, 33 plus pounds. But I'll tell you what a difference a week makes. The fishing's been a lot tougher this week. I would guess that the Wednesday night tournament results were somewhat lower than that 33-pound bag of a week ago. Let's jump ahead to the UFC 11, the frog tournament, 2-day tournament. Had a lot of boats. I think they had 80 some boats on the pro side, and I think maybe 90 boats on the am side, somewhere in there. The pro side was one with 23 pounds plus. That's a fairly low weight. Last year I think it was one with 30 something. On the am side they had 27 pounds. That's not a bad weight. You have to remember this frog tournament, you can only fish frogs 6-hour days, Saturday and Sunday. And it's only a 3-fish weigh-in, so they only were able to weigh in 6 fish. But the telltale sign was on the pro side, I think for 2 days of fishing, the average midfield was about 7 pounds. For the am side, the average middle field was like 3 or 4 pounds. I know the pros had 13, 14 boats that didn't even weigh in a fish in 2 days, and the amateur side had over 20 boats, I believe, that did not weigh in a fish. That's tough fishing. At least the frog fishing was very tough, and as far as my reports came in and what I saw on the water last week, not just frog fishing, but fishing the kitchen sink, it was tough. I almost forgot to remind everybody that the big Snag Proof Open frog tournament is coming up this week. Along with that frog tournament, or in conjunction with the frog tournament, Rob out of the Bass Hole has a nice frog sale on hollow body frogs. You buy 4 Snag Proof frogs, you get 1 free. It's a good deal, a good time to build up your arsenal. And also, if you go out there, ask Rob, especially for you guys that are new to frog fishing and you may be looking for a dedicated frog fishing rod, ask Rob to show you some of his lighter weight frog rods. The last couple years I've kind of put my heavyweight frog rods under the deck, and I've been using a lot lighter rods. It's been a lot more fun to me catching fish with frogs on the lighter rods. So ask Rob to show you some of his lighter frog fishing rods. With that, let's get into the report, and we'll start off with Mr. Tony Vaughn. He's going to let you know how he's been doing out here. Give a spill the beans on what you've been doing. I know you caught a 7.5 last week in the Wednesday nighter. You say you've been struggling a little bit. Everybody's been struggling. How'd you get that 7.5 pounder? Can you talk about that?
Oh yeah, we can talk about it. I was just flipping, outside weed lines. We've been kind of struggling, me and my partner John Garrett. But, the bite's kind of turning. A guy caught 30 pounds the other night, and I know him very well, so he did a really great job. But the fish are starting to bite, so remember, the Delta, it has changes. It comes and goes. I'm throwing top water. In top water, I'm getting a little sniff, but nothing major like this time of the year.
Are you getting the fish top water throughout the day or just early and late?
Early and late.
Okay.
Early and late, yeah. I try to throw it in the day just to see, because I know in the past I've caught them in the middle of the day. Yeah. But right now, I'm not getting
You can always get that one that comes up, and usually when the ones that come up in the middle of the day on that whopper plopper or something, they're a good fish.
Yeah. So, yeah, and then, just punching, trying to, just find the fish, find a little different nuances that we need to catch, big fish. We're catching a lot of fish, but not the big ones.
So you're flipping and punching, basically crayfish imitations. Have you been noticing, are they uptight in toolies? You getting them in 1 foot of water, or are you punching the outside vegetation in 4, 5, 6, 8 feet?
Yeah, I'm punching a little deeper because I've had more success with the deeper punch. And then I'm flipping a little bit deeper.
So when you are looking for for those deep water, that deep water vegetation, are you looking off of rock banks, or are you looking off of tule islands?
Well, both, actually. All I'm looking for is isolated clumps.
Isolated clumps.
Yeah, so if you can find isolated clumps 4 or 5 feet off the bank, 10 feet off the bank, I don't never pass those up.
And I think you're talking about not just I've been looking for isolated clumps too, but what I'm doing is fishing shallow and looking for isolated tule clumps that I could visually see. But I think
Right.
you're talking about isolated submerged vegetation where you're going along, you see a dark spot out there.
Right.
That's what you're looking
Yeah,
for.
3 or 4 feet under the water.
And it
yeah.
doesn't matter where it's at. You're going to find that and try to fish it.
And that's what I'm gonna try to fish. Yeah.
One last question for you. Are you using electronics, or are you using just visual, old-time?
I'm just using my sense, my
down,
fishing sense.
dirty, nasty.
Just on the Delta, I like fishing at targets. So my forward facing, I don't really use it a whole lot out
And
here.
that's how you get good at casting.
That's
too.
right.
There's so many targets out here doing
Oh,
this
yeah.
all day. You fish in
You
Delta
figure
much,
it
you
out.
become a better caster.
That's it.
So that's Tony's advice. Look for submerged vegetation, throw a crayfish imitation, or submerged vegetation, throw a crayfish imitation, and just keep it up.
There you go.
All right, thanks,
All
Tony.
right. Good luck, guys.
Once again, thanks for Tony for taking a few minutes and sharing his information with us. What Tony has been seeing has been happening with everybody out on the Delta. It is tough to get big fish. Lots of numbers. The bigger fish are coming in deeper water, and I talked to Rob from the Bass Hole, and I asked him what he'd been doing. He said the same thing. He's flipping and punching offshore tules, mats, things like that, tule patches that are offshore, and he's going from 5 to 6, 8, 10 feet deep, punching out deeper. He's getting a few nice fish, but he's wading through a lot of small fish. So with that being said, I know most of the guys that I have talked to at the dock have just been holding their head down saying, where are these big fish? Where are the big fish? And the only thing, I talked to Rob in depth about this, and we know the fishing has been tough since that full moon. That's been over 10 days ago. It coincided with a temperature drop. Water temperatures out here have been about 71, 72 degrees. That's maybe a 5, 6, 7 degree water temperature drop in the last week because of the cool nights and the cooler days that we've had. So the only thing that we could think of is the temperature drop along with the fish recovering from spawning in the full moon. They just haven't picked up yet. Hopefully it's going to be soon. They're going to have to feed. I can tell you this, that I have been seeing a lot of new fry, little baby, 1-inch fry, half-inch fry, and these are the fry that were spawned out in this last full moon. So we know that it may not be a ton of fish that are still out here spawning, but this last full moon in July, we had enough fish spawning that I'm seeing a lot of fresh fry out there. There are a lot of fry garters. That's why we're catching a lot of the smaller fish. And for those guys who don't know the term fry garters, we have fry out here that could be 1 inch long from the last spawn, 2 inches, 3 inches long from prior months spawning. As those fish, the fry get bigger, they start to move around more, and the male bass turn on them, and they start to eat or feed on the smaller fry. So they get pretty aggressive, the smaller males, and you can catch a lot of smaller fish. I can tell you that the topwater AM bite just hasn't been there, not even a good 15-minute bite. From what I've seen, I would suggest do not get up at early in the morning. Bryce and I were out this morning. We caught a couple good fish. We got decent numbers of fish. The fish just weren't on a good bite, and they didn't start biting till about an hour after the sun came up. So if you want to get a topwater bite, come on out about an hour after the sun comes up. Don't get up early and start throwing poppers. One thing that we really noticed, there had to be moving water, so into points, close to the channel, places where you had some water movement. And I have been noticing for the last 10 days that my fishing has gotten much more productive when I'm using a very small popper. I'm using a Rico. The Rico that I generally use is the big one. It's about, I think it's almost a 3-inch bait. But when I dropped down to their little 2-inch, little bitty 2-inch popper, I started catching fish. And they're not big fish, but I am pulling out some 2.5, 3-pound fish on that small popper, and that's what's getting bit. So that's my story for fishing in the morning. I have not been out in the evening, but I haven't been getting any reports that people are out there, you know, just killing them in the evening. It has been mostly chatterbaits, and really, if you want to catch fish, it's drop shot, it's worming, it's fishing the bases of tules. I've been throwing that Bronco bug. I put that video up last Tuesday, just a couple days ago. I forget what it's, fishing the Bronco bug or whatever it is. I'm doing really well with that. I'm picking up fish. I'm still wading through a lot of small fish. I'm going through a lot of baits. But it is getting, that Bronco bug is getting bit, and I'm sure for you guys that throw mini jigs or smaller jigs, beavers, things like that, pitching them up in the tules, stay out in a little deeper water, 5 or 6 feet. You're going to catch a lot of fish, and if you stick with it, every 10th, 12th fish is going to be a 2, 2.5, maybe 3-pound keeper. You got to be really lucky to run into one of those 7 or 8-pound fish, and no matter what you're doing, whether you're throwing, whether you're punching, whether you're frogging. The frogging has been tough. We went over the frog tournament. It's just been tough. So with that, that's my story, and man, I hope next week I'm still going to be out here, and I'm hoping I can turn things around. I'm going to keep coming out and fishing topwaters in the morning and the evening. I'm going to be relying heavily on worms and plastics, but I'll be throwing chatterbaits. I'm even going to start throwing some crankbaits, see if I can cover some more water, look for some more water, and I might even throw a jerkbait. I was getting some reports of people catching them on jerkbaits. So with that, I want to thank you guys for watching. Thank all you guys for supporting the channel. Send in your reports to scooper9561032. Send me a picture, whatever you got, let me know. It helps me do the weekly reports. With that, get out there, have some fun. See you guys on the river. Again, thanks for watching.